In 1998, the first California Standards Test was administered. The final one was given 15 years later in 2013. I teach high school chemistry, and most of my students were born in 1998 and 1999. I began teaching in 2003, right smack in the middle of those testing years. Preparing for those exams is pretty much all my students and I have known. Many of you may have seen the video called I Choose C, where a young woman goes to a job interview. For those of you that haven't, here's an excerpt.
Hello. Welcome to Energy Conservation Incorporated.
Thank you. I really hope to get a job here.
Well, let's get started with your interview. What do you think are your greatest strengths?
My greatest strengths?
Yes, your greatest strengths.
What are my answer choices?
What do you mean?
My answer choices. You know, A, B, C, or D.
There are not any answer choices.
Oh, I understand. In that case, I choose C.
You choose C?
Yes, I choose C. My 5th grade teacher told me to always choose C when I did not know the answer.
Oh.
Oh, indeed. This video is both funny because of the ridiculousness of the conversation, which continues on, and sad because of the harsh truth contained within. We were all attempting to get the right answer in order to raise test scores and our API and AYP values. It was an era of convergent thinking where you were either right or wrong, even though we all know the world isn't that simple. Fortunately, the pendulum has been swinging back and less of an emphasis is being placed on standardized testing. We are making the transition to more holistic learning, attempting to encourage depth and not just breadth, and celebrating divergent thinking and design using project-based learning instead of beating it out of our students with repeated drill and kill exercises. But this process has not been easy on any of us. Not the students, not the teachers, and certainly not the parents, who like to take to social media to complain about math homework. All of us, again, students, teachers, and parents, have been asked to do more. We are the adults here, so it is up to us to forge ahead and find the tools, stay up on the research, and figure things out in order to help our students. We try to help them, but sometimes students want to give up because their world suddenly shifted and they do not know what to do or how to cope. Remember, in response to our standardized testing system, we have trained a generation of students to find the one true answer rather than taking risks. When you don't know, choose C. Some students refuse to try because they are afraid to fail. If they don't begin, then they do not have to worry about not finishing. Some are terrified of making mistakes. High-stakes testing, ultra-competitive college admissions, helicopter parents droning on and on. Is it any wonder anxiety disorders are on the rise? We want to create safe places for students to explore and make mistakes. Every educator, whether they are a teacher, parent, coach, or some other mentor, knows that we only improve from an endless cycle of trial and error. If at first you don't succeed, try again. With this in mind, this year, on the first day of school, I tried something different. I put this quote on the screen. Failure is an option, fear is not. Not all students know who James Cameron is. Many of them haven't seen Titanic, Aliens, Avatar, or his many other movies. I knew this quote might be a bit esoteric for students, so I let them process using a quick write, and then I gave them this from Thomas Edison. I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 things that do not work. And again, I gave them some prompts and time to process. Next, I shared with them something that is essentially a mantra at Google X, their innovation department. Fail fast, fail smart. And I asked them to give me their thoughts. Finally, I showed all three simultaneously and asked them to write about why they think I shared these quotes and how they might apply to our classroom. I read some interesting quick writes that night. I could tell some students got it or were starting to. I could also tell, though, that many were still trapped in the mindset that mistakes and failures are something bad. It's so much easier and perhaps safer if they can just choose C. It is now 6 months after that dialogue. Recently, I asked my students via an anonymous survey as to whether they felt comfortable making mistakes in my class. And in every period, all but 1 or 2 students said yes, they felt comfortable making mistakes. They knew it was no big deal. They knew I would offer feedback and we would move on. As for the few outliers, who knows? It could be me. It could be their own anxiety and insecurity still coloring their opinion. Regardless, it gives me an opportunity to reflect on what I do to encourage academic risk-taking. It's important, though, that I am choosing not to fall what is known as critics math. John Acuff talks about the phenomenon of critics math in his book, Start, Punch Fear in the Face, Escape Average, and Do Work That Matters. John says 1 insult plus 1,000 compliments equals 1 insult. Let me say that again. 1 insult plus 1,000 compliments equals 1 insult. That's some weird math. So often we let one small piece of negative feedback ruin all of our positives. Even worse, the negatives often stick with us longer than all the compliments. As the modern pop poet Taylor Swift says, haters gonna hate. Just shake it off. Shake it off. In short, we want to try to encourage academic risk-taking that will sometimes result in mistake-making. We want to constantly encourage the try, fail, learn, repeat cycle. We have been doing this with students since time immemorial. This cycle is a powerful approach to learning new things. We allow them to grow and develop by allowing and celebrating mistakes and treating them with kindness and empathy, all while giving them encouragement. This is what we do for others. It is who we are. It is why we do this job. We do it for others, but we don't often do it for ourselves. At the very worst, we are unforgiving of our own mistakes. At the very least, we are impatient with them. I say this to you now because we are talking about integrating technology into education. In other words, we are exploring something new to many of us. And anything new always creates a host of opportunities for mistakes. But if we are willing to take risks and thereby willing to make mistakes, then we are modeling a powerful way to approach learning, which is our jobs. Because in the very end, we want students to be learners first, before mathematicians, before chemists, before linguists. We want students to be learners. My own journey into technology and teaching began about 7 years ago, and trust me, I have made many mistakes. I am still learning. As a tech learner and leader, nearly every single day I learn something new, and now I have the amazing opportunity to work with teachers such as yourselves. It has been my experience that when technology first comes into a school system, people seem to fall into a few distinct camps. There's the group who are rolling their eyes and exclaiming, "Finally!" There's the indifferent camp, because they feel it's not going to enhance anything. I think most of us fall into the cautiously optimistic camp. I mean, we are teachers. We have to have at least a little optimism that we have control of our students' learning. This cautiously optimistic camp thinks technology sounds cool, even though we're not sure what that means or the repercussions. You probably have a couple of techie teachers on campus who do crazy things you'd never even imagined possible with students in tech. Green screens, screencasts, podcasts, vodcasts, hyperdocs. It all sounds like technobabble to you when you ask them about it. You look at them, and along with your awe, you get discouraged and think, that's not me. That'll never be me. You know what? That's okay. No one's asking you to be them. No one is asking you to be like those teachers any more than you are asking your student Abraham to be more like Maria. Nobody wants a classroom consisting solely of Marias. I don't know about you, but one of the things that attracted me to teaching is the variety in people and experiences. The chemistry I teach students year after year does not change much, but they do, and I do too. Sometimes teachers feel obsolete when new technology comes into the picture. My friend, an instructional coach, said she initially felt this way. She has worked on our campus for several years, so she was there as we transitioned to a one-to-one district and Chromebooks were given to all students. We conducted extensive training for teachers in preparation, but as tech began to permeate our campus, teachers would come to her feeling upset and confused because they did not understand this new tool. They were beginning to feel like obsolete technology, much like what is pictured here. If students had a computer and the internet, then why would they need us teachers? Here is what she told them. You're an expert in instruction, not just an expert in math, not just an expert in PE, not just an expert in social science or English or art. Instruction. Nothing is ever going to replace that. We as teachers have spent hours, days, months, years, and in some cases decades honing our craft and refining techniques. A Chromebook or iPad cannot replace you any more than the copy machine, laminator, or a set of encyclopedias can. Because if you think about it, that's what the internet is, the world's largest set of encyclopedias. Technology is a tool just like the laminator and copy machine. The internet is a resource just like the encyclopedias. We feel the stakes are high, too high, for us to make a mistake. As part of my survey to students, I also asked them what they thought of teachers making mistakes. The overwhelming response was, we all make mistakes. We are all human. As educators, we are used to having everything just so, toiling over lessons for hours on end, attempting to plan for every contingency. We get up early in the morning to prepare materials. We stay late cleaning. We work nights, weekends, and holidays. We spend our own money on our students, on our classrooms, and on our growth, all to improve our craft. Then someone walks up to you and hands you a Chromebook and tells you they want you to start using them in your classroom. Sometimes it feels like just one more thing, perhaps even the proverbial straw to break the back of your sanity. Probably there's a healthy dose of fear in there. Afraid the lesson will not go right, afraid that you don't have all the answers, afraid that you might even break it, whatever it is. Well, let me speak to those fears. Yes, sometimes the lesson will not go right, but that's true for your non-tech lessons now. You fix it as best as you can and you move on. Again, as part of the survey I gave my students, over 95% of them said they would rather have the teacher use technology in the classroom, even if it may not go 100% according to plan. It's okay to not have all the answers. That's what the internet's for. I have Googled everything from complex chemical concepts to how to reject a second date to how to give a keynote address. Seriously, you can look up anything on the internet. Furthermore, when I am trying a new web program in my classroom, a student asks me how to do something I don't know, I tell them. I model that it's okay not to know. Sometimes I send them off to figure it out themselves. I tell them when they learn to show me so that I now know. Sometimes I say to them, let's figure it out together. As for being afraid you might break it, I'll let you in on a little secret. You can't break the internet. Let me say it again. You cannot break the internet. Trust me, better brains than ours have tried. If on the off chance you do happen to break it, everyone's going to be so impressed in trying to learn what happened and how to fix it, you will become a minor celebrity. It's okay to start small. I encourage you to start small. Try one thing a month and master that. If you start today, then by the end of the school year, you will have learned 3 new tools or programs that you can use next year. If that seems like too much, then commit to trying only 2 before the end of the school year. Do not reinvent the wheel. Technology not only helps students, but us as well. Become an expert Googler. Develop and cultivate your own professional learning network on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, or whatever social media platform you enjoy. There are hundreds, if not thousands of groups composed of people from all over the world at various stages of this technological teaching journey. They will help you not make the mistakes they did and encourage you even when the risk seems greater than the reward. I would like to conclude by simply reiterating a few things. 1. Failure is an option. We owe it to our students and to ourselves to try and to fail fast and fail smart. 2, technology is a tool. The internet is encyclopedias. However, you are an irreplaceable expert. 3, our students can be as kind and forgiving of our mistakes as we are of theirs. So remember to be kind to yourself as you grow and learn. And 4, when you make a mistake and the haters start to hate, just shake it off. Thank you.